What up, wrestling fans? FaceManBuddha. Thanks for stopping by and tuning in. I wrote a blog the other day for Battleground. It was mostly just about Bayley helping out Sasha and how awesome that moment was. I don't want to go over the whole blog because then there's no reason to go read it. It's not that long. It's just basically explaining how awesome it was to finally see her get called up, which it was after so long. People forget that her match with Sasha, their big match was in August of last year. They had, I think it was July, and then August was the last one. August, I think, was the Iron Woman match, and that was the last time. And then Sasha got called up pretty much right after that, whether it was a couple days or a couple weeks later. And then everyone thought Bayley was going to get called up, and then she didn't. And we all thought January she'd get called up, and she didn't. And then we all thought, okay, WrestleMania, the night after WrestleMania, she'd get called up, and she didn't. So really, it's not been just a couple months. Sasha's just been back on TV the past month, and she disappeared for I think 5 or 6 months. They took her off air because they didn't want her to outshine everybody, and I understand what they're doing, but they could have promoted all of this that just happened in the last 2 days, which have been great, and it is rewarding because they've made you wait so long. But it's something that could have been circumvented or brought to us 6-7 months ago, which still would have been 3 or 4 months after we really wanted it. So I'm not saying they had to give it to us right away, but they made us wait. So anyway, it's been a long time, so it was really great to see Bayley come out. I really thought we were all going to get douched, for lack of a better word. I figured VKM would just say, oh, we'll put out, Nikki, because there were rumors about Nikki coming out, which if she did, sorry to sound mean, I wish she would get booed the F out of that place. I'm not saying people need to curse at her, but it just would have been, I think, in my humble opinion, it would have been justified if they would have booed her. Although a lot of people say, oh, Nikki's great, she's improved. Well, I don't agree with that, but anyway. Nevertheless, getting back to Bayley, it was awesome that she came out. I actually almost jumped up out of my seat. I did a half jump, and I was clapping. I basically reverted back to a 7-year-old. I actually cried, shed a few tears, and I couldn't believe it. It was uncontrollable. I basically was just so thrilled that Bayley finally got her comeuppance, as they would say, and that they finally brought her out and let her shine, which has been basically a year now. So that's 1 year of waiting and waiting and waiting. I guess like Christmas, right? They conditioned us to wait. But again, it was great for her to come out. It was really an awesome moment. It was awesome to see Sasha, excuse me, so happy to see that genuine ear-to-ear smile. She was smiling for her sister, her best friend, and it was really, really cool. Just think about that. Imagine if you were able to, if you wanted to be a wrestler and you were able to make it, and then on top of that, while you got there, the few years prior, you befriended someone and they had basically the same dream, because both of them mirror. They both started their love of wrestling at 10 and wrote journals and essays on it. And these are two girls that really wanted to do this, and that's what they wanted to do, and they wanted to change the game and not be TNA out there like the Divas, which is a slight terminology wise. And so imagine being one of those people, particularly Sasha in this point, and then being able to get in that ring and the fans receive you well. Sasha got a huge pop. She got the second biggest pop to Bayley, and it was hard for her to hold it in. I give credit to Dana and Charlotte, even though you saw little kind of smiles crack in their faces. Still, they held it together, and Charlotte was happy, because if you remember when Bayley beat Sasha for the title at TakeOver, the first one, before their Iron Man match, Charlotte ran out and she was blubbering probably more than anyone in the ring. She was really happy for Sasha. And also, I guess, happy for Bayley, but also happy for Sasha that those two had a great match and all that. Because when you bestow the belt to someone else, that's, an honor. So again, going back, imagine being in the ring and you're Sasha and you've come all this way and you have a great friend and you get to be in the ring when they finally make their debut, and the fans are going to go crazy because they were chanting Bayley's name. I think they were chanting, hey, we want some Bayley, before she came out. And on top of that, you have to recognize that like 85 to 90% of the fans in the audience are male. And I think most of them are like 75% of those are 40 and over. And I'm in that category. I've been watching wrestling for 4 decades. And I don't know, maybe I'm retarded, but I basically reverted back to a 7-year-old, and I was just so happy for Bayley. I was so happy for Sasha. It was wonderful to see her smile like that. It was wonderful for the fans to just bestow all that love and affection toward Bayley and chant her name, and then to see Sasha and her do the high 10 to the three corners of the ring to the people. Was really wonderful, and then they had a really good match. Sasha and Bayley have great chemistry as wrestlers, as opposing wrestlers, and they have phenomenal chemistry as a tag team, just like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn would be a phenomenal tag team. Sometimes your greatest foe, so to speak, would be your greatest tag team partner, because you're going to have even better chemistry because you work like a machine together, and that's what it was like to see Sasha and Bayley go against Charlotte and Dana. Dana, as I mentioned in this blog, was a little bit out of it, but anyway, so it's really pretty much enough about Battleground. I don't want to talk about the other stuff. I really just wanted to highlight Sasha and Bayley, and of course Battleground being about Sasha. This is some pictures, obviously. It was really great. This is them afterwards, which most of you have probably seen. This is another great picture. It's a real picture. It's not like, oh, say cheese. This is two people who actually care about each other. They kind of also alluded to, thanks to Bayley, possibly being a tag team, and I wish they have enough women where they could do a tag team where they could be tag teams. I also believe in intergender tag teams as well, but a lot of males are against that. I think that's my opinion, humble opinion. I think it's stupid. I don't understand it. Not that it's stupid, but what difference does it make if two people can wrestle? Like, wouldn't Asuka and Nakamura be a great tag team, intergender tag team? That'd be phenomenal. You could put Finn Balor and Becky. They could be good together too. Bayley and Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan was around. How great would that be? Sasha and The Rock. I mean, come on, Anyway, so big props to Charlotte. She had a good match. It was a really, really good thing at Battleground. Again, I'm really happy for Bayley. So I've tried to find pictures. If they're blurry, I apologize. Most of them, it's funny. This kid's thumbnail was somehow, he found a clearer picture than most of the pictures that I found online. Moreover, if you come here, you can check out, there's like 14 or 15 reaction links of people reacting to Bayley, genuine reactions, and they're really funny. You can tell that people really adore Bayley and are happy, just like I was. These are some past posts about women's wrestling and Bayley and Sasha, and I put this one twice. Sorry, I'll take that one out. And this is a link to this Talk is Jericho, which was probably 3 to 5, maybe 7 days prior tops to Bayley coming out in Battleground. I think it was about 3 or 4 days. It's a great talk. It's probably about an hour. Bayley is really funny, very humble, very genuine. It's great to listen to her, just like Daniel Bryan. This is the video from Breaking Ground before they had their Iron Man match, when Triple H told them that he was going to give them the Iron Man match and make it a main event. And actually, it should really be Iron Woman. People say, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, in use of diction, meaning words, morphemes and stuff, Iron Woman is much more accurate, and also it's respectful because they're females. Not that you want to highlight the gender, but if you say Iron Man, you're referring to two men. So if you're writing and you're paying attention to language, you would say two men. And then if you turn out and say, no, I was referring to two women, and say, well, you wrote it wrong. A lot of people speak the wrong way. I know. English lesson 101, but anyway. Just a point. So anyway, now a little bit about Sasha. She became champ last night on Raw, which I was shocked. I was very, very surprised to see that. It was awesome that she got it. I didn't think they would give it to her because I was surprised that Bayley it actually came out the other night. I was like, they're not going to do it. He's going to just bend us over and, skeet in our face, basically, meaning Vincent, and give us Nikki or Eva, something to insult our intelligence, as he usually does. But I think Triple H got the better of his ear, and maybe even Shane O'Mac, and probably more Triple H. I don't know, but definitely it's not Vincent, because this is not the way he rolls. And they got the better part of his ear and said, listen, we gotta let Sasha, after that reaction the other night with Bayley, let Sasha, it's her time. She's been here for like 8-9 months now. We've taken her off the air for 5 or 6, 7 months. We gotta give it to her. We can't just might as well just strangle and shoot her if we're gonna keep her out. So they did the right thing 2 nights in a row, which is amazing. So I'm happy like a 5-year-old. I've been smiling all day. Very happy for both of them. Watched their match the other day on WWE Network multiple times. It's a short match, but I watched it, and it's really great to see Bayley come out. But my girl Sasha, I'm so happy for her. Both of them are my favorite. I'm a little more partial to Sasha, my girl, my boo, but I love Bayley. I love them just as much, so the same rather. So it was great to see her win. I'm surprised that they let it happen, but it was, again, the right thing to do. 2 smart choices, 2 great shows back to back. Not the 2 best shows ever that Raw's ever done, but in the last 10 years, those are probably one of the better pay-per-views in the last 10 years, and one of the better Raws, if not, top 5 or 10. I mean, of course, you have your Daniel Bryan ones, which when he was around for those few years, He had a short run. Those 3 years were really great. He never really had a run as a champion, but I mean run as a superstar where he was over for those 3 or 4 years before he got injured. She is much like that, you know, the fans genuinely pine for her and love her, and meaning Sasha, so it's great that she got this title. She should hold it now. Maybe what I would do is have Charlotte have a rematch against her at SummerSlam, obviously, in which she loses, meaning Sasha, and not Sasha, sorry, meaning Charlotte loses in her attempt to retain the belt. Sasha retains her belt, keeps her championship, which is what I was trying to say a moment ago, and therefore when she keeps her belt, you have her staying the champion. She's defended it now. She defeated the old champion now twice, which is actually 3 times because she also beat her in Battleground, so that's 3 times she's beat her. So that completely ends that program for now, and they can come back to that, revisit at some other point. Then you have Bayley the night before at TakeOver in Brooklyn, 1 year almost to the day. You'll have her regain her title and give her this special stamp in history. She'll be the first 2-time female champion ever, which can never be erased. That'll go into the history books. She's the first 2-time champion. That'll always be there. And she will also be champion. So she'll be 2-time champion and the first 2-time champion. So that would be great if they did that for her. She gets in the record books for that, and she could have her title, and she could also do what Kevin Owens did for, I guess, 4, 5, 6 weeks when he first came. He still had the belt, and he was taking on John Cena and beat him and beat pretty much everyone he came across. So there's no reason why Bayley can't regain her belt, become the only 2-time women's champion, be the women's champion in NXT again, and then the next night you have Sasha win on the pay-per-view Sunday. Then Monday night you have Sasha come out, you have her open the show with the belt, and she goes to the ring, and you can even have her say, "I'm so happy," and talk for a few minutes and say, "But there's something missing," and then you could hit the Bayley music. The fans will go ape shit. She runs out with her title. They can talk about how they're champions, and then you could set some type of tag team event up with those 2 against 2 other girls, and then you obviously can call up some other people at that point. But then you could have a feud, and then you keep them as partners for a while. I guess eventually Bayley will have to lose her title in NXT to come over, or maybe, you know, she can just give it up and say, "I want to move up and I don't want to hold the title anymore," because it would make her look weak if she loses it right away. And if you give it back to Asuka, then you're eliminating the fact that you gave her the 2-time champion asterisk, and then you give it to Asuka, which would then be on the same thing, so that wouldn't be good. So, but they could give it to someone else and then it would be alright. So nonetheless, it was really just a great thing. I'm really happy for both of them. I'm just in shock that WWE did the right thing, but regardless of whether they did or not, or being that they did, it's just wonderful that these 2 girls are getting the love that they deserve, and after all the hard work they put in, and I think they're going to continue to change the game, and there's a lot of great female wrestlers in NXT, and you know, I think that it should move on to intergender matches, like tag matches. You don't have to have a huge amount of it, but if you do have some of it, I think it would help a lot. Again, think of, like I said, when Daniel Bryan's on, you put Bayley and Daniel Bryan on, that's crazy. 2 most over baby faces in the last like 20 years. I mean, they could do no wrong. You could pick many people for Sasha, Finn Balor, even Sami Zayn. You could pick, The Rock when he was around. Right now, I don't know, off the top of my head. Anyway, pretty much just try to pick someone who was cool and is a good wrestler. You might be able to hook her up with Cesaro. That might sound weird at first, but sometimes opposites could work well together. So I think they should try to do that at some point. But the first thing is establishing, I think, a tag matches within the women's division where they actually come up with some belts, and then they could be tag champions as well, which would be awesome. And then eventually you have the inevitable heel turn by Sasha, setting up their matches, and then you do a 9-month program leading up to WrestleMania 33 in Orlando, Florida, which is where they started with the NXT, and that way they could open the show, bring down the house, blow off the roof if there is a roof to the stadium or arena, and you could have Bayley win the championship there, and it would just be a huge thing. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Peace.